Hey, there we go, bang on time yet again. It's 10 o'clock, guys. How are we? I can see Girly Whirly's here, Def Links is here, that means Rachel's here. Good evening, folks. I'm just having a fruit tea tonight. I'm not having a coffee tonight. Sully's here, Ravi's here. The whole crew is joining. The usual guys. Kim's here. Kim, you couldn't make it last night. I hope you managed to catch the replay. Nina is here as well. I hope everybody's good. Viola's here. Hello, good evening. Hello, Girly Whirly. Barbu's here. The whole lot. Everybody there. This is awesome. Let's just give people a few minutes to join. And whilst we do, hey Laura, how we doing? I want you to tell me. So I set last night. Been waiting for this all day. Says Ravi. Ravi, great to see you again. Yeah. So I gave people a little assignment yesterday to go and take a risk today, and that would be either just talking to somebody, basically opening up a conversation with someone in public, whether that's in a coffee shop, at work, in the street, at a bus stop. Shelley's here, just seen. Sexy Harun is here. Don't know who that is, never seen you before. Thanks for joining us. I did catch the replay and hope it works tonight. Yeah, Kim, honestly, yeah, fingers crossed Periscope will work for you tonight. Sexy Harun says, thank you for calling me sexy. It's not one of those sort of scopes, Sexy Harun. It's all about mindset and positivity. How are you tonight? How am I tonight? I'm good. There's some crazy comments coming up in here. This is ridiculous. It gets weirder every night. Vishal, good to see you. Kim, I'm great, thank you. I'm really good. I had a busy day, but I'm always excited to do these scopes. So yeah, last night we were talking about risk and how you shouldn't look at risk always as a negative. Bertrand, hello. I know, but you call me sexy, it means a lot to me. Well, that's good. I'm all about making people feel good. Anyway, yeah, back to last night. Risk, it's not all about negatives, you know, negatives. Risk can be a really positive thing, you know, and if you don't take risks, then you have nowhere to grow, basically. Even if you take a risk and you fail, then you're going to learn an awful lot from that. It's going to be a really, really big lesson for you. So let me know if you took a risk today, first of all, and then we're going to look at something tonight that we all know, after I've said on a couple of procrastinators of the world unite. Exactly. So we're going to look at procrastination. What's the worst nation on earth, I hear you ask? Procrastination. Mark Dharma told me that. He's a really big mindset coach, but he's a little bit cheesy, so you can blame him for that. So yeah, we're going to look at procrastination. What is procrastination? Well, procrastination, guys, you all know exactly what it is because you probably all do it. I am guilty of it as well. It's where we put off things that we have to do, and we delay things, and that's generally because so I don't know what procrastination is. Sexy hard wrong, we're talking about procrastination, not whatever that is, but yeah, so procrastination is where you put off something that you should be doing now to achieve your goal, but because generally it might be hard work, or those first few steps on the way might be hard work, and they're not going to lead to kind of like, you know, that pleasurable to begin with. They're going to be hard work. We kind of put it off. So you might sit down at your computer to write something, and you know, do a blog post or write some emails to some casting directors if you're an actor, you know, whatever it is in your job, and you don't really know where to start. You might kind of find it quite difficult as a process. So you actually end up hearing a notification on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and because that leads generally to instant pleasure, instant gratification, we enjoy spying on other people's lives, seeing what they're doing, delving into their business. Meredith, good evening to you as well. That we decide to do that instead because that's more pleasurable for us, whereas the work might not be. So tonight we're going to look at 3 killer strategies to stop you from doing that. Before we go on, if you agree with that and I think you're guilty of procrastination, give me a yes, type yes, and give me some hearts. Let me see some hearts coming up. If you're new to Periscope, by the way, and you don't know who I am, my name's Ross. I'm an actor and I'm a voiceover artist from Manchester in the UK. And I am also obsessed with mindset, productivity, motivation, positivity, getting people further in their lives faster. So we're doing these scopes every night. I've committed to 30 nights of these. And this is night like 18, guys, in it, something like that. Kim says most definitely me. Laura says yes. I'll happily admit to this. I am guilty of this. Absolutely, I do this. Thanks for sharing the scope, Viola. Yeah, if you want to share the scope with your friends, guys, if you want to get them on, you can swipe left to right on your iPhone, and you can share it on Twitter or Facebook, or send it out as a link to people. Definitely goes hand in hand with wasting time. Yeah. So a lot of people are guilty of this as well. You know, so it's not just me. So this is a bit of fun, guys. I've got my slides out again. here we go. I'm not printing them on the back, so I am going to have to read them and kind of like, hopefully we'll get them all in. You can screenshot these if you want, but I will also upload the slides to the replay of this Periscope, so you can actually, you know, read all these in your own time. I want to introduce you to 2 people you've got in your life. If you had an imaginary friend growing up, I know one person on here, I know Rachel did. Rachel, who's watching, had an imaginary friend called Darby. My brother had an imaginary friend. He gave him a full name though. His name was Jimmy Benson. Work that out. He was only about 3. He knew his surname. Bit weird. Anyway, right guys, here we go. I want to introduce you to Mr. Procrastination and Mr. Action. Okay, it says here we live each day with 2 invisible friends, guys. Okay, Mr. Procrastination and Mr. Action. These twin brothers have the power to motivate or demotivate you. Okay, the only weakness of Mr. Procrastination and Mr. Action is that they both possess is that they can't bear to be in the same room at the same time, and that room, guys, is your head. Okay, so in the fight to get into the brain room, how is the winner chosen? Okay, well, the winner is chosen by what you focus on. So you change your focus to win the motivational fight. And this isn't the usual thing where I talk about focus and go, you focus on what you want, and that's kind of like, you know, what you're going to kind of have more opportunities to succeed with. I'll give an example. Mark, who I spoke about a minute ago, Mark Dharma is one of my best mates. If you're not following him on Periscope, follow him. It's Mark Dharma, M-A-R-K-D-H-A-M-M-A. The guy is a high-performance health and mindset coach working in Los Angeles. He coaches some of the biggest celebrities on the planet, singers, pop stars. He also coaches millionaires and billionaires. Okay, so this guy knows what he's talking about. He told me about a client earlier today that when we were talking about what I was going to talk about tonight. He said one of his clients, he didn't give me a name, is hugely successful in business. Mark does scope, Vishal, as well. Yeah, he definitely scopes quite a lot. Check him out. He's really, really cool. If you're particularly into fitness and getting into shape, Mark's your man. Mark is brilliant. Now, he's telling me about a client that was hugely successful in business. And that was because in business, this guy was so confident. Okay, confidence is constructed of 3 parts. Okay, it's courage, commitment, capability. This guy had all 3, and his confidence in business was through the roof. He always focused on what he wanted. He always visualized things like he already had them before he set out on new business ventures. The guy was flying. Obviously, that's why, you know, he's a multimillionaire. Now, on the flip side, his health and his body were terrible. He neglected them completely, and this is because he procrastinated massively when it came to health and fitness. He was focusing on all the wrong things rather than focusing on what he was going to get out of fitness and get out of, you know, being healthy, having a better body. Was he fat? Yeah, he was fat. The guy was overweight. He would focus instead on the pain he would feel when he went in the gym. That first, few times he goes in the gym, the embarrassment he would feel walking past people who were fit. He would focus on the idea of having to, eat boring meals. In his mind, he thinks of healthy food as salad and just boring stuff. Mark teaches people how to cook amazing food that's really healthy, but delicious. He had it all wrong. He was focusing on all of the problems. Thus, what he was really doing is he was opening the door in his mind to Mr. Procrastination, focusing on how, that initial pleasure was not going to be there for him. It was just going to be initially pain, even though it would lead to great pleasure down the line. And he would just close the door behind him. So Mr. Action couldn't even get in. Mr. Action's like banging on the door of his brain, trying to get in. And just couldn't, because all he would do is procrastinate when it came to fitness. So if you want to do something and you have, this sounds so much like me, says Kim. Guys, I'm using fitness as an example here, but this can apply to every area of your life. I am a massive advocate of fitness though, guys. If you want to build a foundation for success, I think fitness is one of the best ways to do it, because you can set yourself manageable goals and targets that are tangible. You can feel them, you can see the progress you're making. And it's all measurable, so it's really, really, good kind of goals to have. So this guy, would just focus on all the negatives and all that procrastination, as opposed to what he was going to get down the line. I don't talk to people as much because my mindset is that they won't want to. Well, that's what we call Haron. That's what we call a limiting belief. So that's something that, unfortunately, through a past experience you might have had, where someone might not have wanted to talk to you, you've kind of grown with that. and you apply that to every other conversation that you're going to have, which is not true. You need to realise that that's really a really false limiting belief. You know, not everyone on the planet is going to be like that one person you probably came across. So that's point number one, guys. Okay, so Mr. Procrastination versus Mr. Action. I want you to realise, if you're going to let Mr. Action into your mind, you know, into your brain, in order to be able to you know, focus on what you want and not be distracted, you need to do just that. You need to focus on you know, what you actually want in the long run. Number two, okay, we can make procrastination work for us. Hold on, I'm seeing your questions. I'll get to these at the end. Let me do this and we'll talk through that a little bit at the end. So yeah, how can you make procrastination work for you? Because procrastination, Mr. Procrastinator, is not evil, guys, right? This guy is actually a bit of a superhero and he's on your side. Let me explain a little bit more and how we can use this for the better. So we want to make Mr. Procrastination work for you. Now we do that, okay? Mr. Procrastination is not evil, like I just said. This guy's a superhero, or he's a protector, okay? He tries to keep you away from danger. He can predict future problems, you know, potential pain and hard work, you know, that you might have to go through that might not be worth it, okay? This foresight, however, though, stops you taking action on something that you wouldn't in the short term, because you wouldn't in the short term enjoy. Like I say, the first few weeks in the gym are hell. Ultimately, you are going to love it though, because you're going to see some results if you just stuck with it. So procrastination's kryptonite, like Superman, his weakness here is his attention to detail. Once he's focused on something, Mr. Procrastination can't let it go, okay? So when you want to diet, what you want to do really is focus on the problems you will have if you don't diet, and then allow Mr. Procrastination to just get carried away with himself. You know, he's going to get completely focused on that then. You know, bad diet, bad health, clogged arteries equals heart attack. Okay, so focus on the pain of not taking action to take action. And that's really, really important. So I'll say it again. So focus on the pain of not taking action in order to take action. Massively powerful. I've said on a couple of other scopes in the past, I've said that the fear of, you know, not doing something and it working out, you know, and you missing out on something, needs to be far, far greater than your fear of failure. So if you're, you know, not doing something because you're going, well, actually, I could fail at that and that's going to be really bad, you need to up your game and go, well, actually, you know what, if I focus more on what I'm going to miss out if I don't do it, and it did work out, because the chances of it working out are just as, you know, just as much, then you can really, you know, you can really kind of, you know, take your mindset, flip it, and take your game to another level. So that's number two, okay? So make Mr. Procrastination work for you. That's massively important. If you get that, give me some yes, I gets it, or some hearts, because that's you know, a really powerful tool when you start focusing on what you're going to lose if you don't do it, as opposed to what you're going to, you know, the things you might lose if it fails, because chances are it's got just as much chance of succeeding as it's from failing. Hello, Gina Inspires from the USA. Good to see you. We're just talking, Gina Inspires, about procrastination and 3 killer tactics to kill it, basically. We've been through 1 and 2, but I'll recap at the end if you just joined. I'll recap. So Hitesh says, yeah, gets that. Yup, says Rachel. Who was that there? Yeah, Hitesh. Absolutely, says Kim. So number 3, and this is kind of like, this is like the killer step, really. So number 3, in order to kill procrastination, we give Mr. Action more pleasure to think about. Okay, so imagine this scenario, right? Read this carefully. Well, I'll read it to you. Imagine this scenario, right? You've recently been diagnosed with a curable illness, guys. It's nothing big, it's just a curable illness, okay? You simply need to choose which medication to take. Right, the doctor explains that medicine 1 has a 65% success rate with few side effects, okay? Sounds great. Medicine 2 has a 35% failure rate with few side effects. Which would you choose? Okay, most people would choose medicine 1 with a 65% success rate, even though the odds for both medicines are absolutely exactly the same, okay, because we are more motivated to move away from pain. So the more pleasure that you can associate with your goals, the more Mr. Action will step up to the plate. So it's an interesting one, and that was like a scientific, you know, kind of like a psychological study they did with people. They said, look guys, you know, this is the situation, which medicine are you going to choose, medicine 1 or medicine 2? Because this happens in sales all the time as well, you know, when people are trying to sell you stuff. They focus on all the positives and stuff like that. So by going 65%, sounds more positive, doesn't it, Harun? Yeah, definitely. So, you know, that's the thing. We are drawn towards the positive. So we are kicked into action. You know, we step up, and you know, we start taking action when we are motivated by the positives that we're going to get. So if you're saying to yourself, I've got a 65% chance of success, you're going to take a lot more action than if really you're focusing on the 35% chance that you've got of failure, because it just sounds worse, and you're going to go, oh well, there's a 35% chance I'm going to fail anyway, what's the point? So the more pleasure you can associate with your goals, whatever that is, whether that's, you know, I'm going to get a great body in the gym, or what's that going to do for me? I'm going to be healthier, I'm going to feel better, I'm going to be able to breathe better, I'm going to look better, you know, I can inspire other people. Positively stack as opposed to negatively stack. We talked about this on a scope before. Positive stacking is really, really important, and most people negatively stack. So most people, what they would do is lie in bed at night, and they would probably have one negative thing in their life that's loosely based in reality, and they would kind of obsess about that at night time. That'd be the thing that keeps them awake. Now that might be loosely based in reality, like I say, but then what they would do is they would negatively stack on top of that. So in their mind they would go, oh well, if this is wrong, then that means, oh god, down the line that could be wrong. Oh, and if that's wrong, then that's going to happen, and that's going to happen, that's going to go wrong, this is going to go wrong. And before they know it, they're like 10 steps ahead of themselves, and their world is falling apart. And the weird thing is their body isn't aware that those things aren't actually happening, because the mind's a very, very powerful thing. So if you're actually, you know, living these things in your mind, your body's going through all this turmoil, and it doesn't know that these things aren't real. And I've said before, Mark Twain did a great quote. He said, I've been through some terrible things in my life, a couple of which actually happened. Because as humans, we naturally kind of want to put ourselves through all this stuff that could happen and could go wrong, that hasn't even gone wrong yet. But we still put ourselves through all that turmoil. So what you want to do in this situation, to give Mr. Action more pleasure to think about, is let's start positively stacking at night. Let's go, right, well, this is the first step on the ladder to my goal. Oh my god, if that went right, that would be amazing. Oh, and if that goes right, maybe I could do that. And then I'd be introduced to this person, and then I could go to that event, I could do this, and then I might get a job here or there. And let that run away with you. So you give Mr. Action all this pleasure, and then he's the guy you're letting into the brain room. So he's going to be the guy who gets you enthused in the morning, gets you up, and you start taking that action, as opposed to going, there's a 35% of this going wrong, and if that goes wrong, then this might go wrong, then this might go wrong. There's no point in doing any of it. I'll just spend half an hour on Facebook because it's safe, and I'm going to get instant gratification because I can laugh at some videos someone's putting on Facebook. You know, so that's the thing. That's the thing that kicks you into action. So to recap, 1, 2, and 3 points for whoever it was who joined from the USA. I don't know if you're still here. If you are, let me know. So number 1, Mr. Procrastination versus Mr. Action. Okay, the guy who you let into the brain room is going to be the one that you choose to focus on. Okay, so change your focus to win the motivational fight. That's number 1. Like I say, if you can't, so Gina Inspire is here. Gina, I upload all these replays of these Periscopes to a website I run called actonthis.tv. If you go to the Periscope section, later on you'll be able to download these slides as well as a PDF document. So that's number 1, which is just introducing you to Mr. Action and Mr. Procrastination. Number 2, make Mr. Procrastination work for you, and you do that by focusing on, you know, the pain of not taking action in order to take action. So look at the things you're going to miss out on if you don't take this action. You know, that's really, really important. And then number 3, we just feed Mr. Action with as much pleasure, you know, and you know, predicted pleasure, you know, that we can possibly muster up. So imagine all those amazing circumstances and all the things that could go right, because they really could. You need to come to terms with the fact that that you can live a really good life and a really happy life and be fulfilled. That's something that is possible, but a lot of people find it really hard. Just to actually come to terms with that and to go, well, you know, my life's not been like that though. You know, in my past, life hasn't gone that way for me. I've always been dealt the bad card. You know, so this is just me. This is what happens to me. I feel like we need a cartoon to go along with this. How do you mean, Kim? Like what? I think I look a bit like a cartoon character, a little bit weird. But yeah, you know, let's come to terms with the fact that things can be good and that your past does not equal your future. So right up until this point, whatever has happened, you know, and if you've been procrastinating on all your dreams so far, it doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that tomorrow you will. You know, so look at that. To finish up, as I said at the beginning, Mark Dharma quote: "What's the worst nation on earth? Procrastination." Chris Stone Films has joined as well. Chris Stone, you are so late, pal, to this scope. We've nearly kind of finished. I'm wrapping up, mate. It's good to see you though. But procrastination, you've spelt it right, Harun. You've spelt it right. Yeah, we're just about finishing up, Chris. However, I want people to kind of like ask questions now. If, oh, Mr. Procrastination and Mr. Action, you want a cartoon for them, Kim? Yeah, we'll draw them. I'm sure you can do that, and I'll add them. I'll add them to the slides. But yeah, so they're the kind of like the three, you know, the three tactics, three strategies you can use in order to kill procrastination. Absolutely. If you've got any questions about any of that, then shout them through now, and let me know what risk as well. We were talking about risk last night. Let me know what risks you're going to take. Also tomorrow night at 10 o'clock when I'm doing this scope, maybe we're going to start looking at a different platform just for a couple of nights, something called Blab. I don't know if you've used Blab. Do it, Kim. Draw some cartoon characters. She says she's going to do that. Blab is like Periscope, but it enables me to bring on 3 other people to actually bring you on video and audio, so that we can actually chat and you can ask questions kind of live in a bit more of an interactive way, as opposed to just, you know, just typing them. Although, like I say, if you've got anything to ask now, you know, type it away. But if you want to do that, if you're up for that, type "I'm brave." We did this the other night. Let me see how many brave people we've got who would actually come on and talk, and not talk about weird stuff. This is all about mindset and sort of helping people. Type "I'm brave" now, and let's see how many people we've got. Chris Stone, you've got to be brave. Rachel, you're brave. Is that Blab? Yeah, it is. That's Blab, Kim. That's Blab. It's an awesome platform. I've not used it myself. I've not broadcast on it yet. So Hitesh is brave. He's coming on. Ravi's brave. Gina's brave. Kim's brave. See, so we've got people who would take part in that. This is awesome then. What I'll do, Chris Stone is brave. He's very brave. Laura is brave. Nina is brave. All these people. Tracy Briggs is here tonight. Hello to you. Tracy's brave. Harun has a question. Let me know your question, Harun. Let's look at that. I'm not brave. Well, hopefully we can make you a bit braver. Type your question in though, if you have a question, and I'll wait for that. So I'm having a fruit tea tonight instead of a coffee, because I kept having coffee at like 10:30 at night, and then I couldn't get to sleep till about 12:30. So I've got a strawberry tea. It's not that strawberry though. Got to take the risk, Harun. We did a Periscope on risk last night, Harun, which is really cool. If you go to actonthis.tv, click on Periscope, then you can watch the replay. Ross Grant TV, it is, Chris. It is. I'm very, very brave. You are very, very brave, Rachel. You are incredibly brave. Hitesh, a lot better. A lot better. Well, you're a lot better. What, for watching these scopes? Or you mean this is better? I wish I was brave enough, says Cheeky Peaky. Charlotte, you'll get braver along the way. This is like a little family we're creating here, guys. Shelley's brave. But you need to take the risk, right? Yeah, you've got to take the risk. Because look, what can possibly go wrong? The worst thing that can happen on a Blab is that your internet connection goes down. It's about as bad as that can happen. Fruit tea never tastes strong enough. It doesn't, Kim. It really does not taste strong enough. It's supposed to be strawberry and something berry. It's nothing. I agree with you. You said we're in charge of making ourselves happy, but why do I always feel like I'm waiting for something to be happy? Right, okay, this is an interesting one, Harun. What I think you're probably doing, and we've talked about this quite a lot on these scopes, a lot of people do this. A lot of people put off their fulfillment, like there's a void you're waiting for. Okay, so this will depend on really on your dreams and your aspirations of why you want to do what you want to do. So I don't know what it is, what your goal is, or why you want to achieve that. You can let me know if you want, if you've got aspirations to be, to be something, or to achieve something. Relationship, career. So what kind of career? Because what a lot of people do is they have one massive goal, one kind of end game. So to go to uni, right? Okay. So what you want to do then is, sometimes people will be overwhelmed by that goal. So your goal is to go to uni, and that might require 10 steps in order to get to uni. More on the side of wanting a relationship. Well, relationship and career are two very, very different things, but a lot of the skills apply to both. And a lot of probably what's stopping you in most areas of your life is probably limiting beliefs that you have, that other people have forced upon you, that were never really your beliefs from previous experiences that you've had. So in relationships, for instance, that can be people getting hung up on a bad experience in one relationship. So a guy can cheat on a girl, That might have happened for some people, and then what happens is they get so hurt by that they close themselves off, and they put this limiting belief in their mind that the other 3.5 billion men on the planet are all going to do that, and are all going to, you know, because all men are the same. And this is a kind of like a natural reflex and a natural kind of defense that we have. And you know, we have this little kind of I want to call it like a success prevention officer in our minds that's kind of looking out for us, a bit like Mr. Procrastinator. It's looking out for us and stopping us from pain and stopping us from hurt and you know, spending time, money, energy on things that might eventually hurt us. But really what they're doing is they are just holding you back from ever really being fulfilled. So you've got to really shift that limiting belief and go, well, actually, I can prove to myself that this isn't true. So for a belief to be true, if you imagine like a tabletop, okay, this is an idea. The tabletop is an idea, and that idea in a relationship that's gone bad might be all guys are cheaters. Now, you would have to put 4 legs on that table for it to become a belief, for it to become actually, you know, a true belief. Now, you probably can't do that, because you would need to say things like, well, every relationship I ever see on the planet, the guy's cheated. Well, that's not true. That can't be true, you know. Every relationship that I know, all my friends, all their boyfriends are cheating on them. Well, that can't be true. Thus, you know, you can't really make that initial idea into a true belief. You need to prove to yourself, excuse my French, that it's bullshit. And get rid of that limiting belief. And the same in your career. So people get overwhelmed by their goals. Ross Grant Love Doctor says, Chris, yeah, I wish with my history. Yeah, with careers it's similar though. So people might get overwhelmed by going, well, I want to go to uni, this is my end game. In order to get there, I've got like 10 steps to make, and that's really going to overwhelm me. I can't really see all 10 of those steps. Thus, I'll also have limiting beliefs about my ability to go, well, I'm never going to be able to get to uni because a teacher 10 years ago told me that was never going to be good enough. A limiting belief that was instilled on you 10 years ago. You've grown over those 10 years, and yet you're still believing that belief that somebody told you 10 years ago, even though you've got so much stronger, so much better, so much more intelligent, so much more clever, you know, and more capable of you know, applying and getting to uni. But just because you can't see all 10 steps, don't worry about that. You only need to see the next one. Imagine you're on a pitch black staircase, you're on a stair, and that might be, right, I've got to send to the universities to get the prospectuses so I can see what courses I want to do. That's step number 1, that's all you need to focus on. Once you do that, step number 2 will light up. That might be shortlisting a load of courses I want to do. That's all it is. Don't worry about step 3, you do step 2. Step 3 will light up. Well, that means I've got to fill in my UCAS forms. That's step 3. Okay, don't worry about sending them off in the interviews and all the other steps that might come after that. Just keep focusing on the one step that you're doing, and then the one next will kind of light up for you. And you need to kind of get confidence and just muster up some courage. You know, confidence, you can't just go from 0 to confident. Confidence is something that is built through 3 ingredients, and that is courage, first of all. So if I'm going to go and do a bungee jump, it's like directing. Just concentrate on one shot at a time. It's exactly like directing, Chris. Imagine, so Chris Harun is a filmmaker. Imagine if he looked at every film as a whole and went, I've got to just, you know, I've got to get through to the end game and do all of this at once. You know, he's got to think of writing the scripts, doing the casting, finding the actors, finding the kit, filming it, editing it, getting the sound right, picture grading, you know, color grading it. If you thought about all those things at once, you'd get so overwhelmed. It'd be like, oh my God, I can't do any of this. So you just said then, why you just wish you could be happy now? I think what you're doing as well is you're putting off fulfillment and happiness because you're end gaming and you're thinking, until I've got a relationship and I'm at uni, I can't be happy. And that means you probably, no matter what you're going to have in life, never be happy, because you're always going to be wanting that next thing. What you need to do is start enjoying the process of getting those things. Chris Stone is ace, says Tracy. Chris Stone is ace. So you need to start enjoying the process. I use this analogy of a football manager every time. I'm probably 3 nights on the run now, but a football coach wants to win the Premier League. Okay, that means that until he, in the model that you're now working off, that would be until he wins the Premier League, he's never going to be happy. His process is the daily practice of the team, and that's how he's going to get to win that trophy. So you need to enjoy the process you need to enjoy the process of training in order to get to that thing. Otherwise, he's not going to be happy until he's got the trophy. And if he comes second, what does that mean? It means he can never be happy. You know, so you need to kind of enjoy the process more and just concentrate on just the next step. Happiness shouldn't depend on external factors. You need to change your emotional state from within. Very, very true. I always say, if you can't enjoy what you've got now, and I don't mean settle for that or just want, you know, just say this is all I'm going to have, you're never going to be able to enjoy what you've got in the future. So gratitude's a really strong point in that as well, Harun. So a lot of people read any kind of self-development book these days. It's a little bit cliched, but they will all talk about gratitude. I'm happier with myself than I was before. Good. I'm glad. Hopefully this has made you a little bit happy, a little bit, you know, cleared the fog a little bit. But yeah, if you write a gratitude journal, every night before I go to bed, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for the day. So they can be very simple things, not million-dollar moments. So one of them might be this scope tonight, and I've got to speak to some awesome people tonight. I write 3 wins that I've had for the day, so 3 things that have gone well for me, and I write down 3 anticipated wins for tomorrow. So you're only 19, so you're so young as well, you know, and if you can start taking this on in your life now, by the time you're like 25, you're going to be flying. But yeah, I write down 3 wins for the day, and then 3 anticipated wins for tomorrow, things that I think are going to go well, so that when I wake up in the morning, I'm already kind of in a mindset that things are going to go all right. Neuroscientists have proven that gratitude has a positive effect on the brain. It does. It has to. It's, you know, it's one of the most practiced things in self-development is gratitude and looking for the things in life you're grateful for now, even when you've not got all of the things that you want. You know, your life, even if it's, you know, looks very drab from where you're at, if you look for the positives, you'll see them. You really, really will. Also, back to the not talking to new people, I always get nervous and wait for someone to talk to me, and I get awkward. Well, this is the thing about taking risks. We did this last night. I set people a challenge to just go and talk to somebody today, because that's a risk, but that takes courage as well. You know, courage is a massive component of confidence. If I am going to do a bungee jump for the first time, I've never done it before, it's not confidence that makes me jump off that platform. I've never done it before, I don't know how this is going to go. It's courage, it's purely courage. It's commitment to go, I'm going to do it, so I'm going to jump, I'm not going to hesitate. And then from the courage and commitment comes capability, to go, I've done it, I know I can do it again. That is confidence, those 3 things: courage, commitment, capability. People find me funny and they want to talk to me, but I don't know why I have that mindset. A lot of it's probably to do with your age, to be honest, because you're so young, you know, and you're just kind of starting out in the world on your own. But yeah, you know, look at those limiting beliefs, things that people might have told you years ago that are no longer true, but you might still be carrying around with you. You know, things people might have said to you at primary school that you're still carrying around with you now. You know, now you've probably done your A levels or whatever. You know, you're going to go to uni. So think of that, guys. It is 32 minutes past, so we've done our half an hour. I hope that has been helpful for people. So I know we talked an awful lot about a few things tonight then, but initially it was all about procrastination. Harun, pleasure, absolute pleasure. Thanks for spending some time with us. Life experience means a lot. It does, and you will learn, Harun, that you learn so much more from your failures than you do from your successes. And as long as you're learning from each of those failures, there's no such thing as failure really. You're succeeding all the time as long as there's a takeaway from each of those experiences. Gina Inspires, thanks you for turning up. So do you inspire people, Gina? What do? You sound like you might be some kind of mindset coach or something. Growth is a beautiful thing. It is, and the only way you grow is by taking risks, Harun. So take some risks. Not crazy ones, but take some risks. Rachel, thank you for showing up. Thanks, Ross. Great session as always. Hitesh, thank you for showing up. Another brilliant scope, says Kim. It's an absolute pleasure, guys. I love this, and we've still got 12 nights of this left, at least. And then after that, I'll still be scoping. I might not be able to do it every night, but I commit to 30 nights every night, and let's continue to do that. If you are an actor and you're not yet a member of the Bulletproof Actor Facebook group, best scope I've been on. Really appreciate it. Pleasure, absolute pleasure, Harun. Thanks for putting me in a happier place and keeping me there, says Tracy. Thanks for turning up. You put me in a happier place. Thank you. Fab stuff, girly whirly. See you tomorrow, Laura. Yeah, if you're not part of the Facebook group and you're an actor, go to facebook.com/groups/bulletproof actor, or go to bulletproofactor.com and leave your email address. Nina, great to see you. Thank you for turning up as well. So yeah, remember, tomorrow when you're going out, we're going to open the brain room just to Mr. Action, not Mr. Procrastinator. I'm having the best time since sliced bread, says Chris. Oh, did your challenge today? What did you do, Kim? Who did you speak to? Are there any single girls for Ross here? There's probably, I don't know if they could handle me. I'm a nightmare, Harun. I have to, they wouldn't. I'd have to spend at least an hour a night talking to loads of other people online. They're not even going to like that. But Kim, tell me what you did, who you spoke to. Who did you open your risk up to? Love wolf. Love wolf. What's a love wolf? We talk about wolves in Bulletproof Actor. We talk about your positive wolf and your negative wolf and the fight they have inside your mind. Did you steal that mug? I didn't, mate. I didn't, Chris. No, this is a genuinely bought mug from Starbucks. A lady in the queue in the queue at a shop. Brilliant. And was the outcome positive, Kim? Did she actually open up and just, you know, maybe you made her smile and you actually contributed something to her life today? That's the important thing, you know, because you will. Because a lot of people, you might have been the only person, you need to remember this, guys, as well, you might have been the only person today, Kim, who said hello to that woman, you know, actually had a conversation with her, because there are people who live alone, who don't have family or friends and come into contact with people, so you might have, you don't know what you've done for that person by just smiling and saying hello. So people might think you're a bit weird, but that's their problem. If you walk by someone in the street, smile at them, it might brighten their day. If they think you're weird, well, that's their issue, innit? It's not your issue. So I'm glad you did that. Awesome. If you've loved this scope, guys, heart it up, give me some hearts, and make sure you're subscribed. Go left to right on your screen, or if you're on iPhone, bottom to top on Android. Follow me, and then every time I do a scope, it's 10 PM every night in the UK. For the next 12 nights, you'll be notified. Awesome. Until tomorrow, remember, yeah, Mr. Action is the only one you're letting in your brain. Shut Mr. Procrastinator out, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, guys. Bye for now.